Muy buenos días a todas las personas que están conectadas en este momento. Mi nombre es Camila Flores, yo hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales y hoy estaremos realizando un webinar acerca de KAUST. Nos acompañan Greg Murphy, Juan Pablo Muñoz Díaz y Alexander G., quienes estarán realizando la presentación. Y al finalizar, ustedes podrán responder todas sus preguntas que me pueden estar mandando en el chat que encuentran en la parte inferior de sus pantallas. So, welcome Greg, Juan Pablo, and Alex, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
You can now start the presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us early in the morning. We hope you're all safe. We know it's a really difficult time. Just wanted to give you a bit of information about KAUST. So I hope you find it interesting, and at the end, we'll give you an opportunity to ask questions, and hopefully we can answer them all for you. So today, as was mentioned, we have Greg, myself, and Juan, who is a student. What are you studying, Juan?
Nice to meet you. Welcome, everybody. Well, I am studying PhD in Applied Mathematics and Computer Science. I started coming to KAUST in 2019. I mean, I can tell them in Spanish, right?
Yeah, you can tell them in Spanish, that's fine.
I mean, whatever is fine, Camila. What do you think? Should I talk them in Spanish or in English?
Sí, puedes hablar en español, que sea combinado.
Okay, so the idea was to come the past year as a visiting student, and I was here receiving a monthly stipend, and then I convinced myself to apply to KAUST. So I get accepted to the PhD program. Okay, they're writing in the chat that is better in Spanish. Okay. Bueno, como les decía, yo empecé en KAUST desde el año pasado como visitante, haciendo una pasantía. Y después de la pasantía, fui aceptado aquí a KAUST como estudiante de doctorado en el programa de Matemática Aplicada y Ciencia Computacional. Este es mi primer semestre. Estuve estudiando aquí en el posgrado desde enero hasta septiembre y pues todavía estamos aquí en KAUST. Creo que si tienes más preguntas las podemos trabajar ahorita después de la presentación. Entonces ese soy yo tengo pregrado en matemática pura de la Nacional y maestría también de la Universidad Nacional de Colombia. Y inmediatamente después de que terminé de maestría vine aquí a KAUST a hacer primero 2 pasantías y ya después estudios de posgrado en el programa de matemática aplicada. Bueno, mucho gusto. It's nice to meet you. And yeah, if you have any question, we can continue like at the end of the presentation, or if you want to go deep and ask more things, you can ask them in the chat, and then I will answer you.
Great. Thank you, Juan. So what we're going to do, we're going to start by giving you a little bit of a preview of what KAUST is. Sometimes it's easier to show you than to tell you. So we're going to show you a quick video first, and then we'll go to more information. So that's one of the videos we have. It's just pulled directly from YouTube. If you have a chance, we recommend that you go on to YouTube and check out all the videos we have. We have different videos on the housing, the tours, the labs as well. So they're really good to look at and give you a better idea. So this is KAUST, the map you see on your screen. It's about 39 square kilometers, so it's pretty big. It's a private campus or compound, so the public aren't allowed to just come in and come out. We have 7,000 residents, as you saw in the video, over 110 nationalities, and it's made up of students, researchers, professors, families, and staff working at KAUST. On the right-hand side here, you can see how far away we are from Jeddah, the major city. We're about an hour's drive, and we're based right on the Red Sea. So it's a beautiful part of the world. The weather there is almost perfect all the time. It does get a little bit hot sometimes, but mostly it's bearable. And you are allowed to go in and out of the campus. You'll notice that the campus has quite a few different parts to it. I guess the parts that we focus on the most is the university campus itself, which is here, but we also have a lot of housing, a residential area, a private beach, a marina. This is a golf course. We have tennis courts, gyms. Juan might be able to tell you a little bit later about what he does in his free time, but we certainly do have a lot of things external to the university itself to keep your life busy and social. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this slide just so you guys hear me, and if there are any questions as well, feel free to ask. We're a merit-based graduate research university. So we offer master's, PhD, and an MS PhD track with English as the language of instruction. All applications are free, and Greg is going to talk a little bit more about the application process later, but every admitted student receives the KAUST Fellowship. So the KAUST Fellowship includes full tuition, an annual living allowance of $20,000 to $30,000 US a year. All your housing is covered. We also cover your medical and dental insurance, and relocation support and flights. So that's flights to come, your visa, and flights home annually every year. So this, I'll make the point again, this is for all students that get admitted to KAUST. There's no separate scholarship application required. This fellowship applies to anyone that is accepted to KAUST. A few quick facts. 1,100 students, just over now. We have a really good student to faculty ratio, as you can see here, 7:1. It's one of the best in the world, actually. We have 65% of our students coming from an international background, which I'll show you a little bit more in a minute. 79% are PhD, and we have, again, this is updated to over 110 nationalities now. So it's a really diverse campus. It's really large. In the background here, you can see the library, which is this part, and then some of our buildings that belong to teaching and labs below them as well. Greg, feel free to jump in if I miss anything, okay?
No worries, you did well.
This is a breakdown of our students. So 78% again a PhD. It's a research university, but we're very proud that our breakdown between male and female students is very well leaning towards female in the international space. So for a STEM university, if you put us in the US, for example, we'd be ranked around 4th or 5th place in terms of our male versus female diversity, which is fantastic. And then you can see our students by nationality here. Now, North America, Europe, and South America are growing. South America is actually one of our fastest growing cohorts. I believe this year our intake, South Americans have increased. But Asia includes areas like China, Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, Vietnam. We have North America, obviously the US and Canada. South America, we have Brazilians, Colombians, Argentinian students, Europe from all over. I think one of our biggest cohorts out of Europe is Italy and Russia, Greg?
Yeah, Russia would be up there.
Yep. We have MENA, obviously, African students too, and then the local students make up about 35%. So you can see it's a very international campus, and all our language of instruction is English, as is all the stores and shops around campus as well. A little bit about our global research impact. You can see here the collaborations that we have around the world. We have faculty that are from all around the world, and obviously with strong connections throughout the regions that they're from and where they've worked at as faculty at other universities. We're proud to be #1 in the world with citations per faculty. That's for the past 4 years. We're ranked #1 in the top 20 universities that are under 20 years old. KAUST is only about 10 years old. So to achieve that standing in such a short time is significant. And we have 14 highly cited researchers at KAUST. So it's about 9% of our faculty. 9%, it doesn't sound huge, but when you compare that to most top universities around the world, you're looking at maybe 3%, maybe 2% of the faculty being highly cited. So we're very proud of our global research impact and our reach across the world. Greg, do you want to speak a bit about the different programs we offer?
Sure. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, KAUST is a graduate school, so we have basically 3 different programs. There's a master's program that you can do, which could have a thesis or a non-thesis option. There's a PhD, which takes about 3.5 years minimum requirement. And then there's a combined degree that you can go in directly from your undergraduate degree, which would be an MS/PhD, which means you can start with an advisor, start working on your project towards a PhD, but complete the requirements that are required for an MS, and that usually takes around 4 to 5 years. So it's a nice option as well. So KAUST, Juan, you have a unique experience. Your internship was working closely with the biological and environmental science and engineering division, but you're currently in SEMSI, right, in the computer science. Tell us about your experience in SEMSI.
Yeah, I came here, bueno, in Spanish, because someone
sure,
has
go for it.
That, yeah, someone has to speak in Spanish. So, básicamente yo lo que hice fue venir a KAUST en la parte del Departamento de Ciencia Computacional y Matemática Aplicada. Entonces, ahorita lo que estoy haciendo es un doctorado interdisciplinario en el que quiero combinar parte de los algoritmos genéticos que se analizan en las células en ratones y desarrollar modelos matemáticos para esos modelos celulares. Esa es una de las partes o uno de los pequeños programas que tiene KAUST. Por ejemplo, en mi caso sería en la parte del centro, donde dice SEMSE, yo sería de Ciencias Matemáticas e Ingeniería y estaría en el programa de Matemática Aplicada y Ciencia Computacional. Pero hay otros programas, están los de Ciencia Computacional, Ingeniería Eléctrica, Estadística. Si se van al lado izquierdo está Ciencias Biológicas, donde pueden encontrar ciencias marinas, ciencias de las plantas, bioingeniería. Y ya en la parte derecha ven que en el programa de Ciencias Físicas e Ingeniería pues se encuentran todas las ingenierías de petróleos, ingeniería de recursos, ciencias de la tierra, las cuales incluyen también geología, ingeniería química. Y en cada uno de estas tres columnas hay diferentes tipos de centros de investigación. Lo mejor de KAUST y digamos que lo que más me ha gustado de KAUST es que aquí no hay límite para la investigación. Si se necesitan recursos para hacer cualquier tipo de investigación, los recursos se piden y la investigación avanza muy rápido. Entonces, si se necesitan, digamos, elementos químicos, se mandan a pedir los elementos químicos y los tienes muy rápidamente. Así que aquí no hay ningún límite para poder hacer investigación. Por otro lado, bueno, por un lado está la parte de lo académico. Digamos, a mí, en la parte de ciencia computacional y de programación, a mí me ha encantado porque nos dan nuestros cubículos para trabajar y te proveen de un computador portátil o de una estación de cómputo, lo cual es una ventaja, que muchos programas de doctorado no proveen esa parte de computación. So I was telling them how is my experience and what is my program about, and how I have been enjoying this program and how I try to make an interdisciplinary research. Then I will talk to you more about like the personal life and private life, but let's continue with the presentation.
Perfect.
Thanks, Mom. So maybe we'll just quickly go across these as well. So we have three academic divisions: BESI, SEMSI, and PSE. So obviously the biological, environmental sciences, and engineering, computer, electrical, mathematical sciences, and engineering, which I believe Juan is from, and then we have the physical sciences and engineering. Within them, we have the different programs divided, obviously under those three broad categories, division-wise. And then research centers as part of those as well. So it'll be interesting to know how many of you are interested in these programs. Again, they are only STEM focused, but the programs themselves are quite cross-discipline as well. So you may be studying computer science, but also doing a bit of work over in BESI as well. I think Juan does a little bit of that too. So it's not always fully focused in one area. There is the opportunity to research a little bit of cross-discipline at KAUST.
So the admissions requirements, it's quite basic to apply to KAUST. We don't charge a tuition fee, or an application fee, so it's free. So the application is available online at the admissions website. Basically, you need to have the equivalent of a bachelor's degree completed towards an area of relevant study. So definitely, if you're interested, if you're into interpretive dance and you want to study applied physics, it's not going to fit very well. But in terms of, have to have a degree that works towards the program. You just need some basic information. A statement of purpose explaining what it is you want to do, why you should be chosen for KAUST, a CV basically telling us your work experience and your academic experience, a university transcript. Now this can be unofficial at first, something that we would want if you're admitted directly from the university, but we would take the most recent mark sheet that you have from your university, and every other institution that you have attended previously. Average cumulative GPA, you don't worry about the GPA. We will do the conversion on that. We're looking for strong students. Again, we have over 8,000 applications for approximately 350 spaces each year. So it's a very competitive process, and but don't let that discourage you from applying. Definitely, we want to get your application. We want to be able to review you. And it's not just based on your GPA. It's based on who you are, what your interests are, what your specialization and your skills in research and other things are very important. So don't worry if your average is like, is it 3.49? That's not the issue so much. We want to look at you as a member of our university as well as a member of our community. English is the language of examination and instruction. And so we currently require an IBT TOEFL of 79 or an IELTS academic exam at 6.0. We also this year are considering the Duolingo English exam at 100. And that's a good option. It's a cheaper option than the other two exams. And it's can be done from the comfort of your own home. So it's a good option. recommendations in the application process. You identify 3 people that would know you in an academic setting, or if you have some work experience, they can also be from a work setting. The GRE at KAUST is recommended, but it's not required. And so if you don't have that, it's not a concern. And again, for a PhD, it's very good to have some research experience. And so definitely, it's quite a simple process. You would also need to upload some personal information, like a copy of your passport and your contact information. And if you submit it to admissions, we review that. And if it looks good, we'll forward it to the faculty and go through the application process. So yeah, Juan, how was your application process? Pretty straightforward?
Yes, sí, chicos, digamos que lo que está diciendo Gregory es que no se preocupen, digamos, por ejemplo, el promedio, porque lo que se está buscando es que los estudiantes estén muy motivados a hacer una maestría, un doctorado y que se animen a aplicar. Y ahí dice, por ejemplo, también que les piden el GRE, pero en realidad no es tan necesario que lo presenten. En mi caso, yo no tenía ni el promedio completo, ni tampoco tenía el GRE. Sin embargo, yo apliqué y fui admitido aquí a KAUST. Entonces, es muy fácil aplicar. Digamos que la única recomendación es que tengan el pasaporte. Y les piden una entrevista de pronto hay algunos estudiantes que tienen que entrevistarse con un profesor. Por eso todo se organiza desde KAUST. Pero es muy fácil. Yeah, I am telling them that for me, the application process was very smooth, that you give me a lot of possibilities to apply. And even if I didn't have the GRE or some requirements, I could, due to my, for example, recommendation letters, get
right.
more. Yeah, and these recommendation letters has a good weight in your application. So I didn't worry too much about the GRE and maybe the GPA, mostly because KAUST is searching for very motivated students. And that can be reflected in these recommendation letters. So, sí, los motiva a que hagan el proceso de aplicación. Es súper fácil y entre más rápido lo hagan, pues es mucho mejor. So, if you do the application process faster as you can, it would be better for you, because then all these things can be taken into account.
Perfect. Thanks, Juan.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. We also have something called the VSRP, Visiting Student Research Program. At the moment, we're actually not accepting any students on campus until the end of the year for this particular program. But we do have the possibility of virtual internships, which carry some of the same benefits. So if you're interested in those, you can apply online at the VSRP website, which is listed on screen at the moment. But again, this is just a short-term program, 3 to 6 months. If you're interested in studying and you're looking to get a master's or PhD, we recommend that you look at the full programs for that. So a bit about the student housing and services, and this is probably where Juan can talk a little bit more about it, since he's lived in these. As I mentioned, as part of the fellowship, you also get accommodation. The images on screen are examples of the student accommodation, but it's not just the housing you get, you also get the maintenance, internet, TV. We also have other things on campus as well, such as schools, daycare centers, campus shopping and medical facilities. So Juan, would you mind talking a little bit to what your place is like and maybe what it's like at the Tamimi?
Yes, definitely. Sí, chicos, digamos que la acomodación de KAUST es, digamos que la mejor que ustedes se pueden encontrar, pues para estudiantes de maestría y doctorado alrededor del mundo. Yo tengo una casa de 2 pisos con una sala de estar, una cocina muy grande, lavadora automática, lavadora de platos automática. Digamos que los supermercados tienen comida de todos lados del mundo, tenemos frutas y verduras desde África hasta Asia, también frutas latinas. Tenemos también diferentes tipos de gimnasios, tenemos alrededor de 3 gimnasios en el campus y tenemos 2 piscinas y también tenemos, pero pues yo prefiero la playa, la verdad. Entonces ahí voy a la playa digamos, cada 2 veces a la semana, uno se broncea. Y ya los laboratorios, como les digo, tienen pues todas las facilidades. Mi casa es muy parecida a la que está en la foto. Como pueden ver, creo que parece como si hubieran tomado la foto a la mía. Y la misma sala en la que tenemos nosotros, digamos que la arquitectura de esta foto grande que está a la izquierda es como se ven los apartamentos por fuera. Y por dentro son las fotos que están aquí a la derecha. También tenemos campos de golf. En estos días fui a tomar una clase de golf. Fue muy chévere porque es un campo de golf gigante. Y estoy esperando a que levanten la cuarentena. Ya la próxima semana van a abrir KAUST para poder hacer los cursos de buceo. Y también con el stipendio que te pagan acá, es muy fácil acceder a este tipo de deportes. So basically, I am telling them that that is absolutely my room. It's very similar. And I also have here some pictures of cows with some friends. So maybe I can show them later. You can tell me when I can share with them.
That'd be good.
Yeah. I mean, you're welcome to show them now if you want. We can share. You can share the screen.
Okay, I will share now. Entonces les voy a mostrar las fotos. Por ejemplo, aquí estamos ¿sí pueden ver las fotos? Sí, entonces aquí estamos reunidos con algunos amigos en una reunión que estuvimos el fin de semana. Ella es brasileña, la que está aquí a la izquierda, y los dos amigos son colombianos, Juan Pablo y Juan Manuel. Aquí estamos haciendo un poco de windsurf. A mí me encanta el windsurf, entonces aquí es donde yo voy a la playa y hago el windsurf. Esto es kayak, entonces fuimos a hacer karts en kayak con unos amigos. Él es alemán, él es colombiano y él es de China. Entonces estuvimos jugando. Y él es también de China, el que está aquí, pero no se ve. Aquí estuvimos en las bicicletas dando un paseo. Esto es parte de KAUST, es súper lindo. This is my house. Entonces esta es mi casa. Aquí es donde yo invito a todos los chicos para que vengan y pasen un rato. Él es de India, este es de Colombia, México, otra colombiana y pues Juan Manuel que es colombiano. Esta es la sala, aquí es donde comemos. Entonces tenemos un mall y aquí, por ejemplo, podemos pizzas de todos los sabores, vegetariana, de pepperoni. And this is like a Saudi dishes. It's called chista cook. So this is part of the different foods that we have in KAUST. So we have everything. Podemos encontrar comida internacional. Él es de Saudi Arabia, este es colombiano, mexicano, indio, y él es de Rusia. So, tenemos muchas nacionalidades. Aquí estoy, bueno, during the internship the past year, I could, because it's a very good stipend, so I could go with that stipend to Dubai. And then I could visit could visit, I saved money and then I could visit Dubai with some friends. Esto es Dubai, entonces pude ahorrar algo, con algo de la plata que me pagaron de KAUST, me alcanzó para ir a Dubái el año pasado en la pasantía, pero obviamente ahorita me pagan más por ser de doctorado, entonces pude ir a otros lugares. Esto sigue siendo KAUST. Esto es Dubái cuando fui el año pasado, ese edificio es muy famoso. Estas son amigas saudíes, amigas de Arabia Saudita. Entonces no únicamente tenemos amigas colombianas, sino también amigas árabes, y es muy bacano hablar con ellas sobre la cultura, ellas cómo viven, cómo ven la vida. Es muy chévere estar en un ambiente internacional y más al otro lado del mundo. Bueno, aquí esta es otra foto de Dubái, mexicana y caleña. Ella es de Colombia. She's from Colombia, from Cali, and she's from Mexico. And then we have other nationalities here, like people from all over the world. Ustedes saben que esto es un país musulmán, así que this is the mosque, esta es la mezquita. Es musulmán, pero pues saben que nosotros andamos, podemos vivir nuestra cultura, nuestro modo de ser. El ruso, colombiano, indio y mexicano. Bueno, aquí estamos en la playa, estamos todos reunidos festejando. This is a Saudi traditional way in which so we just sit in the floor.
Classic. Yes.
Yeah. We eat a lot, so we eat all the food. So I couldn't take the food before the shot before, but yeah, esto es como una forma tradicional en que los árabes comen. Ponen un plástico y comen ahí de todo, como quieran. Estos son chicos saudis, vean las vestimentas tradicionales. Son muy buenas gentes. Y yeah, that was everything I want to share. So feel free, you want to ask more questions about which other activities. And yeah, so si quieren preguntarme más cosas, bien puedan escribir en el chat. Les puedo responder cómo es la vida aquí y digamos cómo se vive. So I'm telling them that now they if they want to ask me more, then I will answer more questions to them.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll just quickly speak about our alumni. We've just got a few more slides. We're almost there. So again, KAUST is only 10 years old, but we're very successful in terms of the outcomes as well. A lot of students are interested to know, if I come to KAUST, what is my future going to be like? Well, 65% of our alumni are employed, and then 24% go into academia. So our percentage rate for alumni activity is very high. We have a dedicated alumni office as well. But you can see here some of the examples of the companies that our alumni go to. Obviously, Saudi Aramco is a big one, but Dow, Facebook, Tesla, Huawei, IBM, Amazon, big names. So these companies recognize the talent we have at KAUST. Then we also have students that have gone into our master's degree that have then gone on to other top universities around the world. So Cambridge, MIT, Stanford, and Oxford. I mean, a lot of the reasons why students go on to these different universities is because the professors that they've studied or supervised them at KAUST have very strong connections or were previous faculty from these institutions. So really proud of our alumni. We keep in touch with them through our alumni office, and it just goes to show that we do have a lot of success, or students have a lot of success after they finish their studies and research at KAUST. So Camilla, that probably leads us to our Q&A section. That's the bulk of the presentation. We're happy to open up, as Juan said, to questions, what it's like for Juan living and studying and researching at KAUST, or anything about admissions or other things for Greg and I.
Sure. Thank you so much for doing the presentation and for being so clear and illustrative about KAUST. En este momento pueden hacer todas las preguntas que tengan. Les quiero recordar también que esta semana y las próximas semanas estaremos realizando otros webinars a las 10 de la mañana con distintas universidades para que tengan, digamos, que un amplio conocimiento acerca de las distintas universidades con las cuales tenemos convenios. Así que cualquier pregunta que tengan la pueden hacer en el chat en este momento, también las pueden hacer en español y yo las puedo traducir a inglés. So the first question they made is if you can send us the presentation to our email. So the procedure would be like you send us the presentation and we will be sending it to the people that are connected right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course we can. And that reminds me actually, Camilla, if they go to our admissions website here, we do have a bot called Hakeem, and it's a bot that's developed with AI. Unfortunately, it doesn't recognize Spanish yet, but if they do have questions in English, they're more than welcome to ask the bot directly, and he's answered over 30,000 questions in a few months. So good resource for students as well. go to the admissions website and utilize the tool that we have on that website.
Okay, that's great. Apparently, we do not have questions in this moment. So if you have further questions while you do the research at the web page and you find more information and you have any doubts, you can also communicate with the email you can find right now in the presentation. And that's it. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for everyone that is connected right at this moment. And we will be sending this webinar to your emails with the presentation and the slides.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. Juan, thanks for jumping on. I think you made this a lot better than we had it originally. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And shout outs to any of your friends that are watching as well.
Okay, there's actually one question, so maybe you can go back to the slide. Fernando is asking, are you going to talk about the appliance and process to be admitted or only about KAUST University? So maybe go back to the admissions requirements.
Greg, do you want to talk about the actual process in terms of going online and what you need to
Sure. So the process, you just go into the admissions website. There's a couple of ways to hit the button. This is apply. It'll take you to a page where you'll just create an account, just a username and password. The process is quite simple. Just upload those required documents that we have listed. And so what you should do is make sure you have your resume on hand. Make sure you have a statement of purpose that basically explains what it is you want to do. It's like applying to a job. Again, KAUST doesn't cost you anything, which is quite an amazing process. You may pay for maybe an English exam, but everything else, the application fee will cover your cost to obtain your visa, and you get paid to study. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about going to somewhere else. KAUST is a small community, but it has so many opportunities. And Juan, like, maybe you could speak a little bit to that in terms of the cost of living here for you.
Okay, thank you so much for the information. If you want to know more about the Colfuturo program, you can go to our webpage and there you can find the information. So thank you so much for today's presentation, for answering the questions, and thank you for everyone that's connected right now.
I think that one of the important things is that they're asking about scholarship credit. So ellos están preguntando acerca de los créditos escolares, pero creo que hay que hacer énfasis en que, digamos, KAUST es completamente gratis. Entonces no tienen que pagar nada, únicamente si son aceptados, KAUST les paga todo para que lleguen acá. Inclusive, lo que gasten en el viaje desde sus casas hasta el aeropuerto y digamos, gastos adicionales, KAUST lo reembolsa cuando ustedes lleguen. So I'm telling them that to apply to KAUST doesn't have any cost, and it is a full scholarship, so if you just get accepted, they don't need to have KAUST will pay for everything. Even if they need to have they need to pay for the visa, KAUST will pay also for the visa in a reimbursement form. So there is not obstacles to apply. Like, everything is there. So if you just want to make a post degree, I think KAUST is the place. Yeah.
Excellent.
Gracias, Juan, por esa información complementaria, por si alguna persona tenía la duda en este momento. Nuevamente, gracias a todas las personas que se conectaron. Si tienen más dudas, pueden escribir a los correos que encuentran en pantalla. I don't know if you can show this slide where they can find the emails for further questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go.
Perfecto. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much for being here and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everyone. And
Gracias.
Goodbye. Ciao.
Bye. Take care.
Two.